Can you hear her?
Say something, Barb.
Test one,
Oh,
two.
there we are. Let me just turn
There.
that up a
All
little bit.
right.
You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
There we go.
How are you guys?
I am okay. I have learned a valuable lesson. I have this book called Jesus Speaks, and it's pretty good. David's aware of it, and he's good because I'll bring something in, some thought or whatever that this book has. And he's like, well, do you know in the Bible where that's at? It's at blah, blah, blah. And he knows it like instantly,
Really?
which is pretty impressive to me. But one of the things I read a couple
You
of
just
days ago,
happened to catch me on one that I
yeah,
knew. That's all.
one of the things that, I read a couple of days ago, which was interesting, and that was, look, human beings down there, if you got something that you think merits, complaining about, then that's understandable. Sometimes it is, but bring your complaints to me. You don't need to be, throwing your complaints all over the place for other people and stuff. So I've been trying to make that my deal. And that is, okay, well, I'm not going to complain so much.
Do people like hit you with bad reviews and stuff like that?
Actually, that is weird. Hang on one second, because I'm not sure. No, I mean, in a way they do, because they will send me a text message, or especially on social media. I took off last week, Thursday, for a funeral and stuff. And so they just played a best of, which is what they always do. And instead of a bad review, I had a listener who on social media and then here at work on a text message to me said how rude it was that the morning show didn't say, oh, and Richard Randall won't be here today. We'll be playing a best of Richard Randall later on. And this guy couldn't understand why they didn't spend the morning telling people not to listen to our radio station. So he got his point across on social media, and that's where it happens. But I don't have like real reviews like I'm sure you probably get.
Oh. Yeah, there's always gripers for various reasons, and I try to let it roll off my back, but at the end of the day, it's just how you can't please everybody no matter what you do, you know.
Well, and I think that's right. I mean,
And you hurt yourself trying.
yeah.
You really do.
So just kill them with kindness and move on.
Well, and because you're right, there are just some people, there's no pleasing them. And I wish that I didn't need people's approval. And I don't really need people's approval, but deep down inside, I'm like everybody else. I would like people to like me and to approve of me and what I do and value what I do. But there are just, well, this is probably some of the people who leave stuff for you. They're just a bunch of unhappy, miserable people out there.
I know. And it's like, why are you spending your time doing that?
Right?
Trashing
Yeah.
other people. Why don't you just, I don't know, whatever. So,
Well, and especially because some of the people, I know it's a temptation to believe that everybody knows everything about how to do real estate and sell homes. And if you just did this and this and this, and they know nothing about real estate, but they are sure content to assume that they know better than you do. And it's the same way with radio.
and I only know my own experience. Everybody has a different world, I'm just talking about my own experience. It's weird. It's probably the same thing in the legal world where, you get your business improves with the experiences that you have, right?
Yes,
But another attorney's
absolutely.
experiences are going to be different.
Yes. Yep.
So,
And I mean, that's why I never really gave it a lot of thought along those lines, but you're exactly right. That is the value of experiences. You've learned things not to do. You've learned things to do. You learn some little hack over here. You've seen somebody else go through something. It's like, oh my God, I don't ever want to go through something like that.
yeah, there's been a few of those. I've been able to watch from the outside going, oh, that's not me.
Exactly. Yep.
But it's
I've seen some of that too. Although I'm sure there's probably people out there who are like, no, Richard, I learned some things not to do by listening to you. Could be.
Yeah, that's good. Oh,
At the end of the day, I think we all just do the best we can. So,
yep. Get up every day and keep swimming.
right. Let me see. I keep.
Do you have a hard stop at 1, DJ?
I do.
Okay.
And 2 weeks from today, I need to take some time off.
Okay.
So I don't know if you want to do it. Well, just play a replay or record later in the week.
2 weeks from today. Let me see.
Be the 28th.
Oh. See. So that's the 28th. Okay. Let's see. It looks like I got to babysit the puppy on Monday. So it's fine. I don't really think I've got a whole lot planned to activate for opening on the 1st, but most people don't necessarily respond to that. They're typically looking at the Zillow and all those big websites. So yeah, we can just do a replay.
We can either do a replay or we can record. I'm back the 29th, 30th, 31st.
It's okay. I don't want you to worry about it. There could be football that weekend too, right?
There is I think you have a 3 o'clock airtime that week.
Oh yeah. No, let's just do the replay
Okay.
because by then everybody's on with their day. You know what I'm saying? By 3 o'clock.
I understand. And it'll be a new audience anyway, so it'll sound fresh to them as it is.
Well, there you go. I hope you have a pleasant time off.
Well, I'm going to a celebration of life for my grandmother. So,
Oh, that's in Iowa?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Okay.
I'm from Omaha.
Oh, I don't know why I like going out there, especially during football season. It's
Oh,
the only place in my life I've been in the grocery store where they're playing the football game, the college football game. I'm like, this is weird. But that's Nebraska.
it is Nebraska. Everything shuts down for the Huskers.
Yeah. All right. I'm ready to roll if you are.
She's ready if you are.
I'm ready. All right, I'm ready to go. I'll count this down in 3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's real estate authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb Schlinker is a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, that's okay. You can always pick it up on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search for Barb. You'll find her on most podcast platforms like iHeartRadio. Every week, Your Real Estate Voice covers great information about the housing market and one of your largest assets, your home. So, Barb, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm excited, as always, Richard, about today's show because we're going to talk about some things that really impact people the most. I mean, the biggest stressor in people's lives is moving. And that's really what we're in the business of doing, is helping people move to the next place that they're going to live, either selling or buying. And the very first topic we're going to talk about, which seems to be on folks' mind now, is what's going on with rates. Should I wait to go on the market if the rates drop? Should I wait to buy if the rates drop? So we're going to kind of deep dive into the actual numbers that are happening. and we'll give you some tips on what to do in any market. So that's titled, Should You Wait to Sell Your Home When the Mortgage Rates Drop? And then the next topic is one of my favorite topics. It's about inspection. In fact, how to pass your home inspection if you're selling your home. And I think a lot of people are not aware that in the state of Colorado, there's no license or oversight for home inspectors. So you never know what you're going to get. If it makes you feel any better, they get an online certification. But that's not even required. The only thing they do license nowadays is testing for radon levels in a house, but not the rest of it. So we'll talk about how a home seller can prepare for their home inspection and just be ahead of any problems. It really helps a lot if you don't have to worry about the biggest thing that causes contracts to fail, which are home inspections. And then the third topic is something that pretty much everybody can use, whether they're buying or selling. We're going to talk about credit and what are the main factors that affect your credit, especially when you're buying a home. Credit's actually used for almost everything. Even if you go to a hotel and rent a hotel room, did you know, Richard, that they're going to run a credit check on you if you use a debit card?
No, I did not know that.
They will do a credit check. So it's kind of interesting. So having a good credit score is really, really helpful. And a lot of people just don't know how to do it, especially if they have no credit or if they've had a bad history in the past, they don't know how to recover. So we're going to talk about some ways that you can improve your score, and some are really, really easy and fast. And the last subject is how to sell your house fast for cash and avoid repairs and avoid showings. I have more and more people opting to do that these days for various reasons. They don't want to get their house fixed up for sale. They don't want to deal with showings. Maybe they have a family status where it's just too hard to corral the whole family, kids and dogs and the whole thing. So a lot of people are opting for these cash offer options. And the big mystery, I think, for folks is they're assuming that basically when you accept a cash offer, that's going to be a lowball offer. And that's just not the case, at least not with us. So we'll deep dive into that. And I'm looking forward to it. Richard?
So, Barb, we're heading into this fall winter season. The Fed seems uncertain about lowering interest rates while the demand is lower than it was last year. So, what do you think is going to happen to the real estate market in the coming months?
Well, a lot of people assume that the Fed's move on rates directly impacts mortgage rates, and it really doesn't all the time. In fact, the last little Fed adjustment caused our mortgage rates to go up a little bit. So it's like apples and oranges to me. And generally it's based on the bond market, which, only the financial people really track. At the end of the day, there are ways that you can get around problems with the rates being high. They're actually not that bad. When I started in the business back in the 90s, at the time, the rates were pretty close to 9%. And very quickly, within about a year or two, the rates started dropping and they went down to 7. And I remember my broker doing the happy dance going, oh my gosh, we haven't seen rates as low as 7 since the 60s, right? Well, we're below that now. I think the rates, as I checked this morning, are about 6.3% conventional and maybe just below 6 for the government loans, FHA and VA. And at the end of the day, buyers are buying homes based on whether or not they can afford the payment. So even if you're selling like a higher end home, there is kind of a trickle up effect when you're selling a house, because whoever's buying your home could be a first-time home buyer or a move-up buyer, and that move-up buyer needs a first-time buyer to buy their house. So there's quite a few buyers that are just kind of sitting around waiting for the rates to fall. A lot of people have this idea that maybe it's going to drop back down to 2 and 3%. I don't think we'll ever see that happen in our lifetime. And some of the sellers and the builders and people like that that are really winning on that topic are ones that will offer some kind of buy down on the interest rate to make the home more affordable. So that's a really good idea. So that's why no matter what time of year you're selling, I wouldn't really even worry about the season. You need to make sure when your home goes on the market, it's the best home for the best price. That is the way you get the most money. I don't care what's going on in the market. I sell homes. I've sold homes during the meltdown. I've worked with buyers during the meltdown. I've sold homes when we were flying high and everybody was bidding on homes. That's actually harder for buyers and easier for sellers. But now we're tilting the other way where it's really leaning towards a buyer's market. It's kind of right on the edge. So you can't really do anything about mortgage rates at this time, but what you can do is take a look around at what's available and try to position the home to be the best in your category. So current statistics for the different counties, not a big surprise because a lot of what we're seeing is the prices are dropping, the days on market are increasing. Right now, days on market in El Paso County are up to 97 days. That's pretty high. I haven't seen it that high in a long time. But the number of available homes are dipping, and more than 55% of the home sellers after they go on the market are lowering their price. In other words, they're testing a historic price that was higher. It's not working. Now they got to bring the house down in order to get it sold. Douglas County is pretty similar. Average days on market, 93 days. Prices averaging there at 829,000. El Paso County definitely is more affordable than Douglas County by far. I think the average sales price right now in El Paso County is 535,000. And Teller County, very, very similar in terms of El Paso County in terms of price. It's been flat in the last month or so. The average days on market up there, 91 days. And typically the prime selling season up there is summer and fall. And up there, we're seeing over half the sellers lower their price as well. A lot fewer homes in Teller County for sale. And Pueblo, kind of more of the same. Pueblo's had a relatively flat market. The average days on market up there over 108, and just less than half the sellers are lowering their price. So what do you do in a flat market? How do you win no matter what the market is? And the way you do it is you first prepare the home as best you can, and you price it very realistically according to how you're going to present the home. As an example, I've got homes that I put on the market that were just slightly below full market value. They needed work. We knew that. The sellers didn't want to put the work in, and boom, they sold for full price or over asking price right away. So it's all about positioning. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about whether or not home sellers should wait to sell their home and wait for the mortgage rates to drop. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some tips on what home sellers can do and what they can expect to see in these market conditions. If you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We'd love to be one of the agents up for opportunity to have you consider us sell the home. We know how to help sellers in any kind of market. I've been in this business now since 1996. It's been a long time, Richard. How long have you been doing this?
I have been doing it right around the same period of time. I came actually a couple of years later, about 97, I believe. I came over from KKTV from being a television anchor. So quite a while.
Yeah, quite a long time. I've seen a lot of things in my experience. I've collected thousands of buyers just in my database of buyers in waiting. Typically, I can find over 1,000 buyers that have indicated online that they're searching for a home like yours, and I can market directly to them. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
So, Barb, we're discussing the Fed's recent increase on that Fed borrowing rate and whether or not it has an effect on the housing market. So, what should home sellers expect and do in a market situation just like this one?
Well, this market indicates there are more sellers competing for fewer buyers. So eventually it's going to have an impact on prices if the homes don't sell. But you can always win in any kind of market if you price it what I call very realistically. And make sure you repair obvious stuff, because there are a lot of buyers. First of all, your first showing is online. So if it's very obvious that the home needs work, you're going to wipe out about 40% plus of those buyers, because most buyers don't have the cash, the resources, the time to remodel a home. But if it's a good buy in a place that they want to be, there are some buyers that will kind of come out of that thought process and go, okay, I think, I could do my own carpet. I could hire my own carpet. I could get that great deal in that neighborhood. Maybe we'll do it. So pricing is absolutely critical. And the photos are absolutely critical. 99% of the homes are eliminated based on the online presentation. It's kind of like online dating. You have to get that right. And if you're a buyer right now, I would not wait around at all for prices and the rates to drop, because we don't know what's going to happen. It's been relatively flat for the last couple of years. There's still a high demand to be in Colorado. In fact, I just read an article this week that there's an increase in the number of younger millennial age people moving to Colorado. So for sellers, you need to make sure you hire an agent that's really, really good at presenting your home the best it could be, both with pricing and imagery online. And, years ago when I started, the typical buyer would have to physically go look at the home. Now, I do recommend that as much as they can. It could be very deceiving. Pictures can be very deceiving. But back when I started, the pictures were non-existent. They use a paper book to find out what homes were available, maybe with one black and white picture. So then the average buyer probably physically went in and looked at possibly 40 homes. I think my record was 127 with one buyer. But at the end of the day, they're not doing that anymore. They're deciding as to whether or not they're going to spend their gas money to go look at your home based on that online presentation. That's why you really have to scrutinize that and kind of pretend that you're not the owner of the home and go, would I go look at that home based on how it was presented to the market? So now buyers are only looking at a handful of homes before they're making an offer. I even get yelled at if my presentation exceeds what they thought when they get there. Like I have a few homes that are fixer-uppers on the market and they're priced that way. But unfortunately, other agents and or buyers may not understand the market well enough to know that, hey, this home is priced $100,000 under similar sales because it has this problem or that problem. I had one that I just sold that has some structural settling. Great home overall, except the cracks in the drywall and the fact that in the basement, the trim around the doors is bowing out. But I didn't take a picture of that for marketing. So I got spoken to by a couple of buyers because they didn't want to waste their gas money looking at a home like that. So I changed the way I present it, and I just present the facts and say this home has some structural settling, might be covered by warranty. This seller, who is the VA, is going to offer it as is, and let them decide. And that worked really well. I actually got a lot of buyers to call, and we had a lot of discussions with them about it. So it's really important you hire the right agent that has the expertise and the experience so that you can win in the end. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice. That's Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing how to pass your home inspection when you're selling your Colorado home. Stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. I'm not kidding. Don't even move. Don't look at the door. Stay right where you're at. You're going to edit that out, right, David?
I stopped recording like a minute ago.
Oh, okay. I thought
Did
it
I
was
talk too much?
All right.
It was
One
only a
down.
15-minute segment. That's all.
Oh, well, you can cut out some stories if you want.
I don't cut out stories.
You don't.
They illustrate the point.
Oh, all right.
Well, I mean,
I can't, if I cut out anything, it's numbers
Oh, okay. I'm fine with that.
because that just makes people's eyes glaze over.
That's true.
well, he's doing that. We go back to my hometown for a funeral, and the guy who died, it's just whatever, but his home is just a massive home. It's got like 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. It's all over. It's right along a golf course and everything. And I'm looking, I don't even know why I saw it on Zillow or whatever, but it comes up at $300,000. And I'm like, if you took that home and you put it, where I live, that would be like $1.6 million or something. It is
Yeah.
amazing when you get out of a major metropolis that what you can buy by way of a home.
Yeah.
All right. David's ready. I think I am ready. You good, Barb?
Yes.
I'll count us down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. I'm Richard Randall, and Barb is the host of the program, the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, many home sellers fear the inspection. Many people think that most buyers want to purchase their home as is, but what are some of the red flags that home sellers need to prepare for when they're selling their home?
Well, Richard, the actual contract between the buyer and seller in the state does say the home is sold as is, where is, with all its faults, right? But does anybody abide by that? Not so much. Most of the time, the buyers will go under contract. Many times they'll bring in their own inspector. In the state, there's no license to be an inspector. I don't know why they don't license it here, but they don't. And the only thing they license is a radon test, but the rest of it, it's the Wild West. So to give you a little warm fuzzy, the inspectors, many of them get what's called an online certification. But does that really give them the qualification to judge the condition of your home? So they're going to look at systems on the inspections, things like furnace, water heater, electrical, plumbing, all kinds of stuff. They'll go up on the roof. And so it's probably a good idea if you're a home seller to get ahead of that, because there are some systems that take time, first of all, to get the contractor there, second of all, to get an opinion if you have a problem, and third of all, to get bids for repairs if it needs repairs. But there are times when some of these unlicensed inspectors just make up stuff. Like one of my agents was at an inspection at a really cool home. And just because of the age of the home, without doing any test, without any real empirical data, the inspector said, oh, that ceiling has asbestos in it, and you're going to have to remediate it, and it's going to cost $30,000. But they didn't know if it had asbestos. They didn't test for asbestos. So a lot of times these inspectors will deem systems dead and useless just because of the age the home was built. Another example would be water heaters. Typically, they will deem water heaters dead at the 8 to 10 year level. Ours lasted 21 years. And another one that they just started doing was smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. So these are recommended, they aren't required, but the problem is they have some say about what the buyer thinks about the house. So you could lose the buyer if your systems are not updated and there's not a good reason for it. Like as an example, if it's a 30-year-old house and it has a 30-year-old furnace, yeah, it's probably going to go at any time. You could either replace it, which is probably going to cost you $6,000-8,000, or you could throw a home warranty at it, something like that, if it's working just fine. The other thing, water heaters, they say 8 to 10 years. It depends. I recently had an agent that actually demanded that the seller replace the roof or we're not going to make an offer, just because it was more than 10 years old, which I don't know where they come up with these benchmarks necessarily. But I would definitely, as a home seller, be prepared. Probably 2 out of 3 inspections on my listings have some kind of roof issue that needs to be addressed. I just sold one on the golf course in Pine Creek that had 5 broken tiles from golf balls. Well, that makes sense, you know, but it didn't mean that the roof was bad. It just needed a repair to certify it. So you want to know that before you accept an offer, because from the time you accept an offer to closing is about a month. Well, when you think about it, you have the inspection within a week. Then they come back and say, oh, we'll take the house, but we want you to fix this and this and this. Now you got to scramble to get bids, get estimates, because you have to confirm whatever this unlicensed inspector said is accurate or valid, right? So you have to bring in professionals in the trade to verify it. So if you get ahead of that, one of the systems we offer home sellers is called a certified pre-owned home program. And that allows the sellers to have plenty of time before they go on the market to make sure their home is pre-inspected. And if they want to fix anything, they can. I just did that for one of the homes that they discovered they had a jacuzzi tub. And the jacuzzi tub, the switch to turn on the jets wasn't working. Well, it's actually, first of all, it's very hard to find anybody to fix that. So it was quite the challenge just to find that repair person. And then when they did, they had to pull the whole tub out of the tub deck in order to not just repair the switch, but also the pump, and then put it back in and recaulk it. So you don't want to do those kinds of things when you're weeks from moving, weeks from an appraiser, 1 week from an appraiser coming. It's just too much stuff going on at once. That's why we highly recommend getting ahead of it, especially things like furnace, water heater, roof, septic, and sewer line. A majority of people actually don't even do anything with their sewer line if they don't have backups in their sewer line. But I would say probably half of my sellers have problems that they need to address with their sewer line that they had no idea. I had one that was relatively, maybe 20-year-old house, and it has a sewer clean out, which is good. And first of all, I got into a cat fight with a real estate agent about whether or not we would allow the inspector to check the sewer line. Because I said, look, here's the thing. I've had too many problems with inspectors checking sewer lines and not really knowing what they're doing. As an example, I had one a couple of months ago where even though we told the agent to make sure that if you're going to check the sewer line, you bring in a plumber, they didn't do it. So right behind this bathroom in the basement, there actually was a sewer clean out where he could have gone through there to check the sewer line. But instead, he pulled the toilet without permission. He grabbed the silicone bath mat, put it under his knees so he's all comfortable. And then when he put the toilet back, he forgot to move the silicone bath mat. So it was stuck under the toilet. And then when we get the inspection objection, the objection is, well, the basement toilet is missing. And the seller looked at that and he goes, oh, that's kind of weird because I think I used that toilet yesterday. And he goes down, he comes back up with this picture of this toilet with the bath mat stuck underneath it. So they're just not qualified to do it. So the next agent, I said, look, you need to bring a licensed plumber to do that. And she got all indignant and said, this is all, long text, term paper, cat fight going on late at night on a Friday night. And she's telling me, you can't tell me what to do. I can inspect anything I want. Meh, meh, meh. I said, I'm just saying, seller respectfully requests if you're going to check the sewer line, you bring in a licensed plumber. So she did. Actually, she finally asked the buyer and he's like, yeah, I'm fine with that. So they brought in a licensed plumber. The first plumber came in. Their bid to fix, nothing wrong with the sewer line, but the clean out pipe was cracked. The landscaping moved it somehow. Their bid was $3,500. And they were talking about digging through the yard to find the other clean out, which wasn't even there. So we went and got another bid from another plumbing company, And he goes, yeah, well, the year that was built, we got an experienced plumber. He goes, they didn't have 2 clean outs in the yard. They just had one, and I can fix that for $600. So that saved her $3,000 right there. She was pretty happy about that. But you need time to shop around. You just can't leave this to the mercy of being under this time pressure to get all your repairs done, or at least get bids, because we can pay them out of closing, and you're moving and all that stuff is going on at the same time. That's why I talk about inspections a lot, because it can derail it's the most likely thing that will derail your contract. Some of them are logical, some of them are not. Septic systems is another example that could be very expensive, and they take a lot of time to resolve what's going on. And of course, roofs, as always with the hail that's going on here, could be a problem. So we can help people do that with our certified pre-owned home program. We're going to talk about that in the next section of the segment. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how you avoid contract failures by getting ready for your inspection. And when we come back, we'll talk about the certified pre-owned home program. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are interested in selling your home, you want to call Barb at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about how to avoid those red flags on home inspections for sellers. What are some other home inspection issues that you've seen come up?
Well, occasionally, even in the appraisal process, there might be a request for repairs, especially if the buyer's getting a VA or an FHA loan. Those are a little bit more strict for house condition. And so the VA and FHA appraisers have to prove to the lenders that the home itself meets the loan guidelines. So occasionally, late in the process, they'll come back and go, oh, okay, the value's fine, but we can't sign off on this house. We won't lend on this house unless you've taken care of these things. The most common things I see that an appraiser will ask for are peeling paint on the outside, missing outlet covers. I just had one a month ago where the appraiser, the fence post was fractured and leaning, and the appraiser required that to be propped up. She didn't need to see proof. She just wanted a picture that it was propped up and she was good to go. Trip hazards in the yard, broken glass, missing any safety things, missing outlet covers, that kind of stuff, they might ask for. So that's part of what we do when we work with our home sellers, is help them get ready and prepare. So I will look at the home and go, all right, if you get a buyer that's getting these kind of loans, get ready, because these are some of the things that the appraiser may also ask for. Now, it doesn't say in the contract who has to fix it. It just says that the buyer has 3 days to tell the seller that these things were called out by an appraiser. But it's sort of like an unwritten thing that, well, if this doesn't get resolved, then the buyer can't get their loan. I just had one that I closed in August, in which it had a little bit of peeling paint around the garage door, which is very common. The buyer went and fixed it, which is kind of cool. So it's a negotiable thing. A lot of people don't know that. Some agents are assuming, oh, no, you have to fix it just because the appraiser said, and it's a negotiable point. So if you are thinking of making a move, you definitely want to hire somebody that has expertise and knowledge to protect you from all the crazy stuff that happens on an inspection. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be discussing the 4 main factors that can impact your credit score. Stay tuned for that. I love this segment. I love this.
I know you like talking about credit.
Well, and I got to say, we did this one time before, and I'd like to do it again. And that is for us to, if you give me permission, then I'll take the audio from this segment, I'll cut it up, and then use it as part of one of my shows, probably on Friday.
Absolutely.
Good deal. Okay.
We're seeing pretty big surge in foreclosures in this county. I just looked at one of the websites that probably is the best at tracking it. It's huge. It's like 36% up this year as compared to last year.
What do you think it is?
Well, a lot of military here, and they do a lot of 100% financing. And the problem is if they bought a home anywhere from 2022 to now and they had to sell, guess what? Their values didn't go up. So when they get new financing on a house, not only are they paying a premium price to begin with, but with the VA funding fee, which is basically a mortgage insurance, it goes, their loan balance goes up by a couple of percent. So it only takes one or two things financially to go sideways where, oh, we can't make our payment, or you know what I'm saying? It can be a problem. And
Yeah.
they don't have any equity to sell it. That's the problem. That's why we're seeing a big surge, especially with people that have gotten a VA loan, didn't put anything down. It's very sad.
Well, I like us talking about the credit thing. Is this something you think we should talk about on the air in terms of the foreclosure thing? At least we have big
I'll probably
military
do.
here. Some way that we could talk about maybe people trying to avoid it or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to talk about, I want to do a whole segment on it. I just kind of went into credit because it was easier for me this morning, but
Yeah, let's.
I did want to
down the
talk
road,
about
let's do it.
foreclosures
Yeah.
because I don't know how many younger military folks listen to my show, but um, it's a problem right now and they don't know what to do. They have no idea, no way out, and they wait. Like the assignment I just got today, young couple, they did try to sell it, but I don't know why the price that they were asking was way more than what I thought they owed, unless they were months and months and months behind. It's hard to tell from what I could see online, but it's just sad to me.
Wow. Well, then I'll tell you what. I'll plan on cutting up and doing something with the credit thing, and then when we do a segment on um, foreclosures in the military, I can do the same thing then. Or if there's a time that you think, you know what, Richard, why don't I come on the show and we can do that live? I'm happy to do that as well.
Okay,
All right.
great. Yeah.
Meantime, we've got segment 3 here. Let me get my clock back. All right, I'm ready. You good, Barb?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate. I'm Richard Randall, along with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb, many people don't know what's behind a good credit rating. So, how can a buyer be in a better position to purchase a home by building good credit or even raising their current credit score? Is it easy?
It is fairly easy. It just takes a little bit of discipline and planning. You don't have to have a perfect credit score to buy a house. And a lot of people don't pay attention to it with, their day-to-day world. Some people are really into it. They think it's fun. But at the end of the day, the credit score is really, really important just because it's used for a lot of things. It could mean the difference of you getting a better interest rate or not if you're buying a house or even a car. Or it could mean the difference of whether or not you're going to get a good insurance rate. Even homeowners and renters insurance can be more expensive. You'd be surprised how much your credit score is impacted by some of these other services that you get. And the top reasons why most lenders deny loans either is credit score is too low, there's too much debt, or there's not enough income. So just to give kind of a benchmark on how lenders decide whether or not you qualify. And these benchmarks are the absolute minimum authorized by the government. Most lenders actually have even tighter standards than what I'm going to say. So they're saying for FHA, the credit score could be as low as 500. I don't see too many that do that. If that is the case, they're going to have to put at least 10% down. Conventional loan probably is at minimum 620, but again, they're not going to get the best rates. For VA loan, VA doesn't really have a minimum credit score, but most of the lenders do. I would say in general, expect to see a minimum of 620 for a VA loan. USDA loan is kind of the same. And for jumbo, so jumbo, the jumbo amount of a loan, that jumbo identifies the loan balance essentially when you buy a house. And I think right now the number, it changes every year, but it's somewhere in the 700,000 range. If you're buying a home and going to have a jumbo loan, your credit score needs to be above 700, and the higher the better, especially if you're above 760. But in general, lenders are evaluating whether or not you can handle the payment. They will give you up to, and it varies depending on the type of loan, anywhere from 35 to 50% of your gross monthly income can be in the form of debt. So what defines debt? It would be your proposed house payment. If you have car payment, student loan, that kind of thing, credit card payments. It doesn't, things like utilities and car or homeowners insurance, homeowners insurance factors in, but not car insurance, and other obligations, like if you have child support payments, or if you're on a tax payment program with the IRS, that kind of stuff. You will get credit for income if you have a rental. Generally, they will give you up to 75% of your rental income can count towards if you had a loan against that. But in general, it's about 30 to 45% of your gross monthly income. Gross is defined before they take out taxes. It can be in the form of debt. That's how they qualify you. Most lenders are actually going to qualify you for more than what you really want to pay. I hear a lot of people being afraid of what they call being house poor, where, oh, well, in fact, I talked to one lady recently about it. She goes, I don't know how I got this loan. I mean, my debt payment on this house is half of what I take home. She could just barely make ends meet in that scenario. But in general, they come up with this score. There's 3 different credit scoring agencies based on a math calculation. And the whole idea behind the score is to predict the borrower's ability to repay any loan that they get. So it's a grade on how you handle debt, and it's based on your payment history, the amount that you owed, especially as compared to how much is available. Also, the length of your credit history. Any new credit probably hurts, and the type of credit used. Like if you have 10 credit cards at 10,000 and they're all maxed out, that will probably hurt your score very much so. And your score can affect what kind of mortgage rate you're actually going to get. Anything above 760, 780 is, perfect. A lot of people, a lot of husbands and wives will have a battle over, well, my score is this and my score is that. It's like a competition. It's kind of cute. But at the end of the day, if you're above 760, you're golden. And so what lenders are looking for is your ability to repay the loan of what you are planning to buy. And then they actually have to do a deep dive. So it's not the same as buying a car. When you go to apply for credit on a car, it's not quite as strict as a home. I don't know why that's the case, but it is. So in general, you need to have a good, what they call debt to income ratio. You need to have whatever down payment you plan to bring in available to be verified. And there's some other random things that they look for, like maybe if you have overdraft in your checking account. That does happen occasionally. We set up a separate checking account just in case, like my husband and I both tap into our joint checking account. So sometimes, we might go over at some point doing something. So I have this backup checking account that backs us up in case something surprising comes across that account that we weren't expecting, to make sure that we don't have an overdraft. Also, things like judgments, taxes, you can't ignore these things. They really have to be paid before you buy a house. So generally the best way to do this is just get with a really good quality mortgage broker, have them pull your credit. It's not that scary, and they'll be able to see it. Or you can just order your own for free and see what's in there. There could be stuff in there that's not accurate, and you want to work towards getting rid of that. And in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about that and how we can improve your credit score. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. And we're talking about how home buyers can improve their credit before they buy a house. And next up, what we're going to be covering are some things that a buyer can do to improve their credit score. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We actually have lenders that we can connect you with that are amazing. They can basically help you buy a home almost zero down, and they can offer a temporary reduction in your interest rate. It's kind of like a teaser rate for 1 year in order to get the payment down low for the first year to get you accustomed with a lower payment moving forward. But in general, the down payments vary according to what kind of loan program you're getting. VA is for people that have served. However, just one caveat, if you find a home for sale that's offering an assumable VA loan, you don't have to be a veteran to be able to qualify for that loan. You just have to come up with a difference in cash. And that's usually when I put those homes on the market, if the seller decides they want to let their VA home loan be assumed, those are like the hottest homes on the market, because typically a lot of people that are doing that right now have really, really low interest rates, 2-3.5% interest, which is wonderful to be able to walk into a low payment like that. But in general, you can get a conventional loan for as little as 3% down. You can get a jumbo loan for as little as 10% down. And FHA is only 3.5% down. And if you're getting a veteran's loan, it's 0 down. So if you are thinking of making a move, give us a call. We've got people that can help you with that at 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you're interested in selling your home, you want to give Barb a call at 719-301-3900. And we're talking, Barb, about how to qualify for a home by improving your credit. Barb, what are some other things that the listeners can do to improve their own credit?
Well, Richard, some of the things that can actually move your score up by as much as 100% is just simple stuff like pay your bills on time or early. One thing I learned years ago that's really helped me is the magic of automatic payments. So I set up all of my credit cards, everything that I have to pay, utilities, credit cards, that kind of stuff, for automatic payments. Even our mortgage comes out automatically on payday every single month. And then I don't have to worry about remembering to write a check. Now it's kind of cute because the younger generation doesn't have checks. Do your kids have checks, Richard?
I don't know, not at all. I have an account. I don't know if I could even put my hands on an actual paper check.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't use checks. And that's okay. You can set up your different obligations to have auto pay. You can even dictate the date on when that bill is paid. So especially things like credit cards, if you pay them before the billing cycle, you can save some money and interest by doing that. And it just make it systematic, automatic. Every time you get paid, boom, those things get taken care of. Even if it's minimum payment, it's absolutely going to help you. And then if you want to pay down that balance, any excess money, you would go back to the way I do it is like Dave Ramsey suggests, we're smallest to largest. And I'll go, okay, I'm going to attack this one next, then this one, then that one. And then generally, if you have a credit card, let's say your balance is 10, available credit is 10,000. The less amount that you owe against your available credit actually helps your score. But once you go above half, so let's say your balance is 5,000, your available balance is 10,000. Once you start going above that half part, it actually drags your credit score down. So as much as you can pay those down as quickly as possible are important. It's okay to apply for new credit And there's nothing wrong with that, but don't close your old credit card accounts. Just use them on occasion, because the older ones actually help your score. And you can actually order your credit report for free by going to annualcreditreport.com. That's annualcreditreport.com. You can do that once a year for free and see what's on there. And it's kind of funny. I was watching a video recently of some lady that helps folks repair their credit. And she said this time of year in the fall is a great time to dispute anything off of your credit report that should not be on there. And what you have to do is write each one of the credit reporting agencies individually. There's 3 of them, and make sure that you send them a letter and you address whatever thing is on your credit report that you don't agree with. And she's saying the rule is they have 30 days to evaluate it. And if they, whether they evaluate it or not, if you disputed it, they have to take it off. So if you do it around the holidays when they're all busy on vacation, you have a larger probability of getting those adverse things potentially taken off your credit if you do it right about now. Credit inquiries don't hurt you, especially if you're shopping for a mortgage. They understand you might be looking at this lender, that lender. That does not affect your score. And some of the younger people that don't borrow, my son doesn't borrow anything. He's got amazing savings, but he just doesn't believe in borrowing money, So he probably has a very low credit score. But you can manually have those scores brought up. Just have a good mortgage lender to work with you on that. So if you have any questions, give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking of making a move, simply call Barb at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be covering how to sell your home fast and for cash without home sale preparation and without showing it. Plus Barb's hot new listings.
So how'd I do on that version of it?
You were right there. Perfect.
No, I'm talking about the content.
Oh, I thought the content was great. Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? And I'm not sure exactly what was different from the last time that you talked about it, but it felt different, and I like it.
It's been a while, so.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, David, can you just clip that out and dump it on an R drive or something like that?
Yeah, I'll see what I can take out.
Oh, wait. You're going to be producing for me Friday, right?
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me get a new clock. In fact, hang on 1 second. I need to refresh with Red Bull here.
Okay. And after we get this segment started up, Richard's talking about the TV.
Oh my God, we have this monitor, and this is the craziest radio station in the world. They give us monitors, which is good, so that we can follow the news, which is good. But instead of having Fox News up there or News Nation or something that's 24-hour news,
right,
we always end up with something where when we're doing your show, there's always a soap opera up there. And so I try to,
because we're on KKTV.
Yeah. And
who happens to be our news affiliate.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
and they had some woman up there who you would have thought that the world was coming to an end or something like that. And I'm like, oh my God, this poor woman. That's what I was saying.
Dramatic TV.
Yes. She deserved whatever those daytime Oscar awards is just for that 15 minutes of crying and freaking out. All right. I've got segment 4. I'm good to go. I got a new clock. You good, Barb?
Yep. Ready.
Right, count us down in 3, 2, 1. I'm Richard Randall, and welcome back to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker. She's the host of the program, and this is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Now, Barb, with the real estate market cooling off a bit, many home sellers don't want to wait months to sell their homes or worry about their contracts failing for different reasons. So, what are the benefits of accepting a cash offer on their home?
Well, Richard, it's definitely moving more towards a buyer's market now, more than we've seen really in the last 2.5 years since the Fed started raising the rates. Now, the rates have come down a little bit in the past year. We were up in the sevens, I think, in the springtime. Now we're in the low sixes. So there's a lot of buyers that are just kind of sitting on the sidelines waiting for the rates to hopefully come down to 3%, which I don't think it's going to happen. So there's that uncertainty, and or they're hoping that the prices will come down. So I think there is some pent up demand, but at the end of the day, if the home seller has to sell now, they can't wait for that. We've seen over the past couple of months a really massive increase in the average days on market to 41 to 97 days on market, pretty much all up and down the Front Range. And most home sellers absolutely hate the uncertainty of the house not selling. They don't like reducing the price. I will tell you that. That's usually a discussion with most of my sellers about, well, my house is worth more because of X. But at the end of the day, if you got somebody that's marketing it well, it's probably not that. It's just if you're overpriced, what you're doing is you're helping your neighbors sell their homes, and yours still sits on the market. Most people don't like dealing with showings. It's no fun to have somebody come and judge your home. I recently had a showing, and the feedback was, well, my kids didn't like what was on the TV screen while we were looking at the house. It was kind of scary. And the seller's like, well, when we left the house, the TVs were off. I don't understand. So it's just, there's a lot of random reasons why a buyer would find not to want to buy a house. And we're having problems with the agents that are showing being extremely opinionated and giving their feeling about it. Like they'll say, well, the house is not worth that much. I had one that I sold very recently where the asking price was 700,000. The agent contacted us and said, well, my buyer likes it, but I don't see other similar homes that substantiate the value. So her first offer came in 100,000 below asking price, which was a lot. And seller's like, nope, not doing it. Then the second offer came in 50,000 below her asking price. Seller's like, nope. Then there was about a week delay, and she came back at full price, and it sold. So in that case, I don't think the home was overpriced. It was just the agent was trying to influence the value or influence her buyers to make them think what she was bringing to the table was value, which was trying to drive the sales price down, which could have meant her buyer didn't get the home that they wanted. So you've got all that craziness going on. Then you enter in the world of inspections, which we just talked about how crazy inspections can be. So I've had many sellers tell me, I just hate the normal traditional sales process, and I get it. So if they do want to sell their home, we have other options rather than dealing with crazy agents, crazy buyers, crazy inspectors, crazy appraisers, having the financing not going through, worried about the appraisal coming in low, worried about the appraisal having to do repairs at the last minute. There are other options. First of all, there are some people that have the benefit of being able to go buy their next home without selling their current home, which is the low stress way to do it. It's the best way to do it if you financially can. But a majority of people need their equity out to be able to buy their next home. So we have at our company, at Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, Barb has the buyer's team, we have 3 different lenders that will allow you to take up to 70% of your equity out of your home without having a mortgage, without having a payment, and be able to go buy your next home first. And then when your home sells, that amount gets paid off. So, and then you've got the other issue with buyers coming in saying, oh, well, I want to buy your house, but will you reserve your house for me and wait until I sell my home, which is also very uncertain. And oh, by the way, it's not on the market yet. Will you do that for me? And most sellers are like, no, there's no certainty going on there. So what do you do in that scenario? Well, we actually have a bunch of investors that will come in and pay pretty much full price on your home. And that way you could win it. Basically, you can pull a majority of your equity out up front, be able to buy your next home. And then when it goes on a resale, you get the advantage of potentially the upside after that investor buys the home. It's kind of a two-step process, and it allows you to take advantage of, you know, having to make that transition more smoothly. I just sold a home that needs a lot of work. And the seller decided that the investor, this cash buyer, said, look, we can either change the deal, go up in price, not down, go up in price, build in there some money to do repairs, and turn around and resell it at full market value. That way you'll get the benefit of the upside. Or we can just sell it as is at the agreed upon original price. And they said, nope, we don't want to do that. We want to go as is. And okay, well, it's nice to have those kind of options. So the contingent sale is usually a nightmare for most home sellers. So all of our special financing programs are designed to help home sellers with solutions to that issue. I talked to a couple yesterday that knows someone that their home is not selling. They're getting elderly. They really need to move on to more of a seasoned citizen facility instead of being in a big home. And they don't know what to do because their house isn't selling. Well, I can help them. I definitely can help them. So I'm hoping that they get them my card. But there are ways that we can solve these problems with our cash offer program. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And we're talking about some ways that you could sell your home fast within 2.5 weeks for cash, not do any repairs and not do any showings. If you're interested in doing that, give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach her at 719-301-3900. And we're talking with Barb about how sellers can accept a cash offer instead of selling the traditional way that involves costly repairs and strangers coming through the home. If a seller does take a cash offer, Barb, is there any risk of it falling through or giving up some kind of equity?
Well, there's an extra cost for selling your home to a cash investor, but most of these investors are trying to maximize the home value. Typical, I think the common perception out there is, oh, if I sell to an investor, they're going to give me a really crazy lowball offer and steal my equity. That's not what these guys do. They come in at full market value, sometimes over market value, and say, all right, we will do this. Here's our fee. And then when it resells on the open market after we've done some repairs or not, depending on your choice, then you get that money that we held back for when it sells, plus any upside potential if we remodeled it. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds. And my experience so far, and I have closed quite a few of these investor deals, they always do what they say. There's no worry about, like typically what we see with a traditional live in the home buyer. They tie up your house for a couple of weeks, they do an inspection, and then they decide they don't want it because they ask for something really dumb or really unreasonable, or maybe they just don't qualify for the financing. With these guys, they give you proof of funds. We're doing this if you want to move forward. They will do an inspection. They want to make sure the house is in acceptable condition, no surprises, but it's not quite as forensic as an inspection would be with a live in the home buyer. That's been my experience so far. I'm really pleased with this platform and how it can help people move on to their next home in their lives without too much difficulty, without repairing and without fixing up. It's awesome. It is a guarantee for your home to sell. Give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
Barb, you and your team are the only company I would recommend to people out there who are thinking of selling their homes and downsizing to a smaller home. You can reach Barb and her team at 719-301-3900. Barb, it's time for your favorite portion of the program, hot new listings. What do you have this week?
Well, Richard, I'm excited about our hot new listings. We've got some beautiful homes. There's one 8935 Coberdale Court that actually we're going to be featuring open this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 3. This gorgeous 2-story with a 3-car garage in prestigious Briargate is priced at $669. It's got a brand new roof. It's got a stunning remodeled kitchen and master bath. Everything's been pre-inspected, pre-certified, ready to go. We also have a fantastic home on 5081 Broadmoor Bluffs Heights. That home is priced at $649.9. It actually backs to NORAD and has fresh carpet. We have another home we're featuring this weekend in Fountain at 605 Birch Drive, priced at $289.9. This home has 5 bedrooms and a 1-car garage at a great price. We have another beautiful home at 4569 East Crest Circle West. That home also at $289.9. Beautiful rancher with gorgeous backs to open space and fresh roof and fresh paint on the outside. And we have many, many more. To find out about all of our coming soon homes and our homes that are on the market, go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And we're looking forward to featuring a few more this coming next week, which are 2 fabulous deals up in Florissant on acreage and a stunning home on 1 acre near Chapel Hills Mall. You don't want to miss that. Richard?
You've been listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. If you are thinking of making a move, call Barb 719-301-3900. Or as always, visit barbhasthebuyers.com. What a great show, Barb. We'll look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great week in between.
Thank you. You too.
And it was a great show.
I forgot to write down all of my homes. I was using memory, which didn't work that well, but I don't know that anybody would notice.
I wouldn't. No, there's no way I would notice, quite honestly. Let's see. Should you wait to sell your home, pass a home inspection, credit score, or fast for cash? I kind of obviously I like the credit score, but what do you prefer here?
Yeah, let's do the credit score one.
All right. I'm going to get rid of the headphones for a second. Ouch.
It's kind of everybody is interested in that.